war noch nie im schottischen Hochland.
Es ist sehr romantisch. Sind Sie romantisch?
Er ist ein wunderbarer Mann, aber er ist ein Wrack. Ich will wissen, was Eric zugestoßen ist.
The film Railway Man is based on a true story, based on the best-selling autobiography of Eric Lomax. So when did you hear about his story for the first time, or when did you read the book?
Well, I was involved in the film for 3 or 4 years, but you know, the producers and the writers, they developed the film over 15 years. And I think it's, you know, it's one of those things when you're telling a whole life story, it takes a long time to understand what is important and what isn't. But as soon as I heard about the story, you know, I was completely captivated by it. It's very rare that you find a story, particularly with the themes of this film, that, you know, that are so succinct and so clear about what, you know, what happened, and you know, in many ways, it's a film about the very best and the very worst of human nature. And so this story of Eric Lomax, it captured that so perfectly.
Hier ist die BBC. Die alliierten Truppen in Singapur haben sich den Japanern ergeben.
Als wir uns ergeben hatten, haben die Japse gesagt, wir wären keine Männer. Echte Männer würden vor Scham sterben.
Du hast keine Ehre.
Ihr seid hier, um uns zu helfen.
Eine Eisenbahn zu bauen.
When you did start working on the film, Eric Lomax was still alive.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so was he involved in working on this?
He was, yeah. Both him and his wife Patty were both involved. Eric was quite old, of course, but certainly when I got involved. But, you know, because it took so long to get the film made and developed and what have you, the filmmakers built up a very good and strong friendship with the Lomaxes, and so they were involved at every stage. They read every draft of the script. We had a lot of consultation with them. When I got involved and then I cast Colin, we went up and met Eric and Patty and, you know, talked to them a lot. And you know, that in many ways the film began as a adaptation of Eric's book, but in fact by the end it was partly that, but also partly from talking to them a lot.
Wenn ihr gut helft, habt ihr guten Krieg.
Aber wir haben Nein gesagt. Wir leben für die Rache.
Er lebt noch.
Er lebt. Ich weiß, wo er ist.
Das hast du also vor, nicht?
He's a very complex character, I
course,
think.
yeah.
So he's lovely and a very calm person, but on the other hand, there's all this bitterness and hate and the wish for revenge. So, which part of his character is the most interesting, or is
well,
it
I think as a contrast, they both are. You know, I think what's so interesting about Eric is that, you know, the bitter, as you rightly say, the bitterness, the hatred, the need for revenge was so strong. It destroyed his life for so long, and in many ways, everything around his life and all the people he knew, and it was very hard for him to settle into a life. It was very difficult for him to have relationships. But then when he met Patty, you know, it opened a window of love and of intimacy, just a little bit, that made him start to confront some of these things. And then, of course, when, as part of that process, he met Helen Bamber, who is a woman who she ran a foundation who worked with people who are victims of torture, and she helped Eric greatly in understanding what had happened to him and in trying to find a way of moving forward. And the interesting thing about Eric's personality is he makes this incredible change, because from someone so bitter and so destroyed by his experiences, to then be able to forgive this man and forgive what had happened to him and let go of what had happened, to move on. And when I met him, he was a very peaceful and very relaxed man.
Tut mir leid, das Museum ist geschlossen.
Ich bin überrascht, dass Sie nicht erkennen, wer ich bin.
Lomax. Ich hatte nicht erwartet, dass Sie noch am Leben sind.
Eric Lomax is played by 2 different actors. The young Eric Lomax, who suffered a lot and has to get through all this torture. And then we have the old Eric, played by Colin Firth, a very experienced and great actor. Was it hard to find 2 actors who fit together very well and
Well, no, I mean,
this one person? Strangely,
no. I mean, it was a very, very simple process, because when when I got involved in the project, we had a conversation, of course, who we're going to cast as Eric, and the producers had made a film earlier, the Girl with the Pearl Earring, with Colin. And I said, you know, I don't know why you haven't sent this to Colin. You know, he just seems like a totally natural fit for this. I think partly because they were looking for slightly older actors, and I think I felt it could be a little bit younger, and so they sent it to Colin. He immediately responded to the part and the character and the challenge of playing that character. And then in some of our early meetings with him, we started talking about who was going to play his younger self, and he actually suggested Jeremy, who he just worked with on something else, and said, you know, this kid might be really good, and of course he turned out to be. And what was incredible about it is at the end of the film you see the photograph of the real Nagasé and the real Eric. The photograph of Eric looks exactly like Jeremy does. I mean, it's quite, you know, it's quite sort of surreal in a way.
Irgendwann muss der Hass ein Ende haben.